Arsenal Fan TV here. Now, you would have seen the other day Olivier Giroud against Besiktas put in a pretty poor performance. Listen, it's fairly obvious that we need a world-class striker in at Arsenal. Giroud is a very good striker. Sonogo, a raw striker, but we need a world-class striker in at Arsenal. And in this video, I thought we'd take a look at some of the players out there, especially now that Mario Balotelli's gone to Liverpool, so that's another target gone. Some strikers out there who are world-class or nearly world-class and could come in and do a great job for Arsenal. So let's take a look at some of them. Some of them realistic, some of them difficult. But listen, Arsenal have got a lot of money, so if they're serious on bringing in a player that's world-class, then they have to make it happen. First one we're going to look at is Edinson Cavani. Plays at the moment for Paris Saint-Germain, a real world-class striker. All right, he didn't have the greatest of years last year, although he did score over 20 goals for PSG, which is the same sort of amount as what Giroud scored. And that was with him playing out on the right-hand side. Not the greatest of World Cups for him, but you can't forget that when he played in Italy for Napoli, he was an absolute beast. One of the best strikers in the world, definitely, if not the best at the time. And the rumours are he'd be available for about £50 million. Arsenal would have to make big moves to get him, pay a lot of wages, but if we want a world-class striker, that's what we're going to have to do. The next target I'm going to look at is another striker that, listen, again, he's world-class without a doubt. It'd be very, very difficult to get, but if he came into Arsenal, you know he would do damage. We saw him in the Emirates Cup score a goal against us in his first goal back from injury, and it's Radamel Falcao, Colombian international, world class, would cost a hell of a lot of money, again around about the £50 million mark, but is world class, considered by many as the best striker in the world. It was a shame that he was out of the World Cup because he was out of there because of an injury, which meant that he couldn't play. But there is no doubt in this guy's class. All right, he's 28 years of age, so he's starting to get a bit older. And for that price tag, it would be a massive investment for Arsenal. But if we want to win the real top competitions, we may need a striker like this. You can't compare Giroud to, say, a striker like Falcao. He's just on a different level. So, and again, the other thing would be, would Monaco be willing to sell him? They've already sold James Rodriguez. But a lot of indications are that Falcao wouldn't mind moving on to play for a much bigger club. I mean, playing in front of 19,000 people at Monaco is not exactly what you need when you're a player of his stature. All right, you're getting big money. But if Arsenal was to try and get a player like him, it'd be big wages and a big transfer fee. And are they willing to do that? Next target I'm going to look at is Jackson Martinez. Again, prolific goal scoring record. Another Colombian top class player. All right, we know he recently signed a new deal with Porto. But I think a lot behind that new deal at Porto is to make sure that they can get even more money for him when they sell him on. There'll be a release clause in there somewhere. And even though he's just signed it, if Arsenal are serious and aggressive enough, they could go in and get him. It's how serious they are. He was available for a little less earlier on in the season and we didn't get him. So, you know, maybe they've looked at him and decided he's not the one, but he's got a great goal scoring record, even though he's been in the Portuguese league. And we saw him bag a couple of goals also in the World Cup. He's got that aggression, he's got that pace, he's good in the air, he's good on the ground, and he scores lots of goals, and he would be a great addition at Arsenal. Next player I'm going to look at is Marco Reus. Now, Marco Reus plays for Borussia Dortmund. Talented player. All right, I know what you're going to say. He's not a striker. Plays predominantly on the left-hand side for Dortmund. But he looks like one of those players that you could convert into a striker. He's got everything, this kid. He's young, he's talented, and he could be available. There's a release clause that's going to kick in for him next year for about 20 million. And you know that everybody's going to swoop down to try and buy him then. So maybe if Arsenal came in with a big bid now, they could sway Dortmund and sway the player himself. And he is a player that the fans would love at Arsenal because he's got absolutely everything. And you could convert him into a striker, and a world-class one at that. That's Marcus Reus. Two other players. All right, these players that I'm going to mention now, maybe not in the world-class bracket, but they could come in and do possibly big things for Arsenal. The first one is Wilfried Bony. Plays at the moment for Swansea. He's been a revelation for Swansea since he's come in. Was already doing great things before when playing over in Holland. But this guy, Ivory Coast international, he's aggressive, he's big, he's fast, he's strong. He scores all kind of goals. Brilliant goal scoring record last season where he scored over 20 goals in a Swansea team. What could he do in an Arsenal team? Is he worth Arsene Wenger taking a punt on? We need a striker. Him and Giroud, would that be a good option? Last player I'm going to talk about is a player that, listen, seemed all nailed on that we were going to sign him. Then we went cold on it. Then Liverpool were going to sign him. And then apparently there was something in his medical that they didn't like. And that is Loic Remy. We know that he wants to come to Arsenal. All right, he's not a world-class striker, but he does score goals and he does know the Premier League. And he would offer more goal-scoring options up front for Arsenal if instead of us just relying on one player, which is Olivier Giroud. Would Arsene Wenger go back in for Loic Remy? Is Loic Remy the answer? I really don't know. One thing for sure is that we need a world-class striker. We need help for Olivier Giroud. We can't go for another season where it's Giroud carrying the can all the time. We've got to get somebody else in there. That's my opinion. I don't know what your opinion is. Leave your comments below. Maybe there's a striker out there that we could go and get. Let us know who that striker is in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV. Get the Arsenal Fan TV app, available on Apple and Android now.